That's two hour work for me. Let's get good look ones.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
I'll roll that for me. One, let's make sure it's not private. Press actually. This one. All right, this one. Make sure. All right, Shalom with the I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. No sweat. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm Officer Karafia, filling for Captain Mashak Mayam till he gets here. You know what I mean? I got Hakayana, powerful trooper, reading for me. You know, I got the badass crown and stuff, man. Again, so we're gonna get into it and make sure any questions you get them ready for the captain. Yeah, make sure you get your questions ready and so forth. 1 second, Bob Shaw. All right, if you could, okay, get me Matthew 1:21.
Hold on, come. Matthew 1:21. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear to up.
Come. And she shall bring forth a son,
And this
and
talking about
thou.
Yahushai. Talking about Yahushai, or who they call Jesus. Jesus' mom, who's Mary, shall bring forth a son. You know what I mean? The she that they're talking about is Mary. You know that same Mary that Catholics love to talk about. You know, it says she shall bring forth a son. That son is Yahushai, or who the world knows as Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? The angel spoke to, speaking to Joseph at the time, I believe, and said, Mary shall bring forth a son. We done?
Come. And thou shalt call his name Jesus.
There you go. And
For
you get a Bible dictionary. You get a Bible dictionary and look at that word Jesus. That word Jesus means savior or redeemer. Redeemer, savior mean the same thing. You know, we got redeem, rescue. Slakia.
So okay, I've got the. Did you want me to look it up or did?
No, it's too
you're
hard.
too hard, yeah? All right, no, sir.
Too hard for that. But you
No,
know what I mean?
sir.
Savior, redeemer, rescuer, all mean the same thing. And this is the reason why the angel said to Mary that she's gonna name her son Jesus or Savior. We done?
Khan, for he shall save his people from
And that's
their
the reason
sins.
why. That's the reason why he's called Savior, because he came to save his people from their sins, not the whole world, man. Now, a Christian will say, well, everybody that believes is his people. The whole world is his people. Hold that. Give me Luke 1:68.
Khan. Luke 1, 6, was that 68?
Khan.
Luke 1:68 are the one.
That's correct.
Khan. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
So again, to make no mistake, man, I ain't taking nothing out of context. We're talking about the Lord God of Israel, man. For him to be the Lord God of Israel means he only belongs to Israel. We done?
Khan. For he have visited and redeemed his people.
There you go. So the God of Israel has redeemed his people. Who is his people? Israel, man. Israel is his people. This scripture letting you know who his people are. So blessed be the Lord God of Israel, because he has redeemed his people. So that man that came to save or redeem or to rescue his people, that's Yahushua, man. And the people that Christ came to redeem and rescue are the Israelites, man, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. We're the ones that need saving. We're the ones that need rescuing, man. And that's in the Bible right there. It's like, add the album to the stream, please. It's transparent. It's hitting me with 10 finger. Those are the ones that need redeeming. And all you got to do is take a look at your window, man. Look at black people, man. Look at how we're living. Look at the Afghanistans or the Afghanis. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, man. The Afghanis was under some tyranny. They was under oppression. They was about to get killed. The oppressor came and saved them. The oppressor. Look at the sexual deviants, man. The LGBTQ, man. They was getting called all types of names and going through all types of persecution. And the oppressor came and saved them. You can't say nothing wrong about them, man. You lose your job, man. The police will come and lock you up, man. They'll call it hate crime. But in 2021, who say black people? Nobody has, man. And that's why we need Yahushua. That's why we need Christ, man. Black people die in the streets, man. Mark Duggan is dead. Rashad Charles dead. Sean Riggs dead. And no one's even damn near said sorry, man. No one went to jail, man. That's why Yahushua got to put in work for us, man. That's why Yahushua got to save us. All the other nations, they got saved, man. They got people that pay them back and help them. Imagine this. England went to India in the 1600s, man. You get me? And messed up India. And you know what England said? England said to make it right, you can bring some of your people to Jamaica, man. You can bring some of your people to Trinidad and Tobago. Because we messed up your country, let's make it right, man. And gave them jobs in the islands, man. And these people are what you call coolies today, man. England, the oppressors made it right for everybody. All nations get saved, they get a sorry, they get paid back, but black people. And that's why we need Yahushua, man. But no other nation has come to save us but him, man. So someone give me Revelation 6:1.
Book of Revelation, chapter 6:1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four.
1 second, let me see if I got the right one. Bear with me a second. No. In fact, 1 second. Give me 19. Revelation 19 and about 10.
Come on, sir. Revelation 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and thy brethren, that I have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
Okay, verse 11 to 101. So okay, carry on.
And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. And he sat upon him, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Look at that, man. John said he looked up to heaven and he saw a man come down on a white horse, man. And in the movies, who comes on a white horse? The hero, man. The hero comes on a white horse, and Jesus Christ is the hero for black people, man. Right. From the sky to make an entrance. Like, what does the hero always do? The hero always makes an entrance, man. When at the last minute, when you think, when the bad guy, is about to win, and all is lost, here comes the hero, man, on that white horse. And that's Yahushua, man. It's a he that sat up on the white horse called Faithful and True, man. Someone who's faithful is someone that lives up to their word, man. Yahushua died for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and he wanted to back out of it, man. But he said, you know what? These brothers need me, man. And he did it. That's a faithful man right there, man. Yahushua keep all the commandments. That's a faithful man right there, man. The Bible called him Faithful and True. This is a black man's book. What do black people like to do? Give brothers nicknames, man. Give brothers nicknames. And here it's calling Yahushua Faithful and True. So he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. We know Yahushua's name ain't called Faithful. We know his name ain't called True. But black people give you nicknames, what? Based on your attributes, man. Based on your attributes, man. That's how we talk, man. That's what we do. If you got two Tyrones and one's small and one's tall, you got what, little Tyrone, man? You got a big Tyrone. And likewise, because he that sat upon that horse called Faithful and True. Because why? That was Yahushua's characteristics. Yahushua was a man that was faithful, man. He was a man that was true, man. You know when the man said, I'm true to this thing? I'm true. That was our king, man. Keep it in.
Come on. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
And look at that. Christ come back to make war. Christ come back to fight for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. In righteousness he made war, not in wickedness. The oppressor makes war in wickedness, man. It makes war because what's oil? Christ makes war because why? You had your foot on the necks of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. 1 second, flash here. like Akim. Read that again, Baba Kashar.
Khan. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
You go in righteousness, he makes war, man. The oppressor makes war. Why? Because he wants people's oil, because he wants people's land, because he wants people's women. He wants to rape, rob, and pillage and take over the whole globe and just harm people. But Christ makes war in righteousness, man. Christ ain't happy that you got black people being deported, called the Windrush, man. Christ ain't happy that you got black men being killed by the police, man. Christ ain't happy that Rashawn Charles and Mark Duggan is dead. That's why he wants to make war, man. Christ is making war. Why? Because nobody else would make war for us, man. Look at World War One and World War Two. England went to war. You know what I mean? England went to war. Why? Because what Ferdinand got killed, man. England went to war because what Hitler invaded Poland, but no one's ever went to war for black people, man. Black people die by the tens of thousands, and no one goes to war for us. We get locked up, and no one goes to war for us, man. We die by the hands of the police, and then guess what? Years later, a documentary comes out about, oh, oops, was wrong. You know, Mark Duggan was actually innocent. And guess what? No one goes to war for us. That's why how shall we go to war for us, man? Keep it in.
Khan. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
And Christ had a name that no man knew but himself. Man, that name there means reputation. No one in the earth, when Christ come back, no one's gonna know his name. They're gonna think he's a white guy, man. They're gonna think he's all loving and all cuddly and all nice, man. No one ain't gonna know his name. They're gonna be surprised when a black man's come back, angry, man, with the eyes red, angry to make war. They're gonna think he's all loving and all kind and all hugs and kisses, man. That's the name they don't know about Yahushua. They think Yahushua is all love and comfort everybody, and Christ would never say that. Christ would never say that about anybody. Like so. Where was going into I was going to Christ come back to make war. Revelation 19:11.
Might need to switch this chair. Salakia. Now you know what? Go ahead and leave in sweat. I'm gonna make do. Yeah, nah, Salakia, bro. Nah. They're making skinny jeans, they're making skinny chairs. Yeah, big Salakia. I need a chairs from the 1990s. Yeah, a little bit more comfortable for me. To water. Say what we was going into again?
Revelation 19:11. Christ come back to make war. No one thinks war for black people.
Okay, no, so I can get some water or something up here. Water or a little wine or something. Was this a question?
No, sir. I was going to the Afghan. They were depressed, oppressed, and they got help straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Ones help black people get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely my topic for today too. Yeah, man. Okay. Was there any questions online you needed to take care of first?
No, sir.
You sure?
No.
How does this work? It's to walk just like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm used to the speaker. That's going straight into the computer, right?
Come on, man.
And where your computer? Oh, you have it there? No sweat. Okay. There one, huh? Okay, and you was using these things to say where that feedback coming from? Okay, this brother's on. Hey, Salaki, I came and see you. Yabashin Shabbat.
Shalom, y'all be the thought.
Hey, Salaki, I thought it was just because I didn't know you all was on. Salaki, who's that? Akayan?
Akayan and Alban.
Alban, what's up, Ak?
Can't.
Musa and Christ, y'all get a little more top here or something, a little tablets or something. Because it it feel like it's in the back of me. You know what I mean? So what? It don't matter. Just one with water. I'll take some of the wine. Y'all like extra wine? No, can use this wine right here, right? Yeah, I'll use that in the meantime. So water too, sis. Yeah, this is good here too because I was watching some of the news recently, right? With the whole thing with the Home Office, and it just seems like that whole situation with Priti Patel, Boris, um, and France. I think France have an issue with it now, with them crossing the English Channel. They says since the year start, it's been over 500 migrant boats crossing the English Channel, right? And since when you all came out of lockdown, what month? July. July, when you came out of lockdown, I think it was like 60 something boats for that month, and it could be more. It might be 100 and something. See if you could pull it up on your phone or something. All right, it might be more, but it say for the year, it's something like 12,000 immigrants came by boat, right, seeking asylum from so-called um, what we call war-torn countries, violent countries, stuff like that. You understand? So we're talking about the Afghanis, the Ethiopians, Kosovo, everybody else except the 12 tribes of Israel. But the 12 tribes of Israel don't have to cross the English Channel. Where's the English Channel? Between England and the rest of the Europe. So France is to the south, right? We have a map up here. No, so you could if you pull it up there just so everybody have a fair idea who may not know. You know what I mean? I know you all for sure might know. But if everybody just so everybody have a fair idea, I believe it's like 12,000 immigrants. You know, I think I have some articles here too. I'm gonna send to you. You know what I mean? So what? I can drop. So what? Appreciate that. Say again? Yeah, just give me where exactly where the English Channel is. Let me get a couple of paper towels too, a little bit, just a few more, if you don't mind. Just give me where the English Channel is, and for, show also where they would have where that French region would be, right? So France is to the south, right? So what? Okay, so where's the English Channel? That's probably an older map with Inglaterra. Yeah, Angleterre, Manchester, Normandy. That's where they stormed in World War II, right? You might need a more modern one to show exactly where that English Channel is. Although I believe it's right in that area there. All right, just type in English Channel. You don't see it on a more modern one. No sweat. You might need a bigger one though. All right, no sweat. Let's see it. Right, I'm gonna probably send you a couple articles too. All right. Okay, so take this one here. Hold on. Look up. I don't think this is the one. Look up Priti Patel turns back. Um, Priti Patel turns back immigrant boats, or Priti Patel and the English Channel. All right. So I think for the year from January to September, in that English Channel that you all seen on the screen there, they have experienced 12,000 immigrants coming over there, right? Over 560 something boats, right? For the whole year so far. You found it? Go ahead.
Home Secretary Priti Patel sanctions tactics to turn back migrant boats in Channel.
Mm-hmm.
The Home Secretary has reportedly sanctioned new tactics to redirect migrant boats in the Channel back to France amid crunch talks over crossings. Priti Patel has ordered officials to rewrite maritime law to allow border force to turn boats around, forcing them to be dealt with by French authorities.
Right, because currently, right now, this is just a little history. We're gonna show you how this oppressor we have, he could never ever give us any sort of, any sort of reprieve. He can never be just. He could never be right. He could never be deal right with the Lord's people, much less anybody else. But somehow they always find a way for the heathens to deal with them fairly. I mean, quote unquote fairly, or in a way where they could survive. So what's happening is, and this ain't just been for the year, this been over the last, however long, but they've been tracking it from January. And from January to now, I think it's over 12,000 immigrants, 500 boats that have been coming through. Now, the English Channel is a major trade route, right? A lot of boats be going back and forth trade, but somehow these migrants who really is what they would call refugees, right? People who seek an asylum from war-torn countries, political unrest, gangs, or whatever. They would find a boat somewhere from France or somewhere else, come through France, and then make it to England because, of course, they have laws that say you have to accept people seeking asylum, right? They have laws for that. So, according to the maritime laws, which is the laws of the ocean and the waters, if you have to act, you have to seek to save their life first before you send them back. And if you cannot send them back, if sending them back would mean a danger to their life. And of course, from even with the 12 tribes, people from Cuba, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Haiti, how they would build the rafts or the boats and just sail into Miami. You can't put them back on the water because that raft barely made it here. You get the point? So, according to maritime law, you have to rescue them first. And then the last government land that they were in, you have to contact them to make arrangements to take them back there. Earlier this year, Priti Patel met with the French, I forget what's the department, but let's say the French government. They struck a deal in which England would pay $54 million to France so that France would put more boats on the water to patrol, right? Now, they struck this deal. That wasn't the only thing on the table. They struck this deal in which the English government, is that still up? You could put me back up, Salaki. You could go back and forth or leave it up. Is there any way you could leave it up on the side? It's up on the side already. Then that's fine. If it's up on the side, that's fine. If it is, we could still be seen. All right. Salaki, do the host with the two on the side. All right, and you could just go back and forward. All right, you could just go back and forth. That's fine for now. And then whenever you had to come back to the main screen, no, not that one. Slide over, not that one. No, slack it right there. Hold on, one more over to the left. Whenever you had to come back to the main screen, you would do that. Or no, the other one. Yeah, that's with the brothers. All right, the brothers like that. That's what he would do for the main screen when you had to go back to the picture, like that. All right. So now the French government, they struck a deal with Britain through the Home Office where they would pay them $54 million a year. In exchange, as part of the deal, they would provide more boats to patrol the water, to patrol the channel. Now, when it came time to carry out the workings of the deal, Priti Patel and the British government started holding back the money. And they held back the money because they wanted the French government to stop them immigrant boats and turn them back themselves. So, in other words, the boat would reach to England, and then England would now stop them as immigrants and send them back. But England don't want no more bad rep for immigrants. So they put the French in a deal and then forcing the French now to be the police to stop the immigrants. You understand? It's a kind of gangster deal. And the French government is now saying they feel like it's blackmail because we struck a deal on something else. These extra boats was part of the deal. But now you coming and saying, well, we're not going to pay you unless you stop these boats. You get the point? If you come on.
So you said you're gonna pay. I thought the payment was something else in the first place.
Okay, it's a bigger deal. It might be in that article, or it might be in another one. See if you could read down there. It's another deal. It's a whole deal because remember Britain left the EU. So in leaving the EU, they have to work out little neighborly deals. Just imagine you and your neighbor beefing over the tree that's on his side, but the leaves fall on your side. Now you might have a neighborhood HOA. In America they call it a HOA, the homeowners association. Here I don't know what you'll have. You'll have like an association for the neighborhood that really like police the what's it called? But there's somebody who does it, right? There's like each neighborhood where there's houses, you'll have a association for homeowners, or if it's rental properties, the landlords will have an association where they all agree that the houses, the grass must be a certain height, the fence is going to be a certain way. They're going to just kind of in general police the area, right? But then you and your neighbor may have an agreement with this tree and the leaves that you all don't want to involve the homeowners association. You get what I'm saying? You might say, well, listen, I'll pay for all to cut all the branches that come on my side, or something like that. Or you say you know whatever it is. So it's like that with England and France right now because of the Brexit. They still because of their relative closeness with the English Channel, they're still gonna have to allow for trade, migrants, immigrants, tourists. They have to have some sort of deal on the table for it. So they made a deal that involved other things, but this patrolling of the water was part of the deal, right? And they would pay the 54 million for the other things, but to also support patrolling the water. England now is now saying, well, we ain't gonna pay you unless you stop. That was what you're supposed to do. Apparently, when the deal was struck, France didn't understand that that's what they were supposed to do because it's illegal to do it because of the maritime law. You can't you can't stop an immigrant vessel and send them back. You have to take them in first. Britain don't want to take them in or don't want to be seen as taking them in. They want France to do it, so France would be the bad guy. You understand? So it's a real treacherous deal. Like this is gangsters. This is your regular street corner gangsters in Westminster. That's all. It's a regular street corner gangsters who making these deals and playing each other. Come on.
I was thinking at this recently, like when you watch these mafia movies and they talk about you can't buy from this man, you must buy from me. That's how the government rules.
That's
like,
politics.
You gotta buy your bananas. You must buy your bananas from me. You know what I mean? Like you, for instance, like you can't gamble, but you can go to Vegas and gamble. Like,
Right.
You must gamble.
You have to. That's when you're in power. That's what's gonna happen now. When you're in power, it's gonna be like, no, you could only spend your money here. You can't spend your money there. So now they struck this deal, and of course, England want France to be the cleanup guys. And France is saying you're putting us in a bad position because the maritime law, we don't have much room to send them boats back. We're gonna have to take them. And that's where they're at now. Go ahead, keep reading.
Kind of one, come. To allow border force to turn boats around, forcing them to be dealt with by French authorities, according to reports.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead. So now they're saying this arrangement that Britain made earlier this year. That's why I'm saying this whole thing with Afghanistan. Who knows how long they've been planning this thing to now put the burden so much on these countries, and also to now push more to push way more oppression on the children of Israel, because for a country that supposedly fell overnight. Oh yeah, and you left work Friday evening. By Monday, you hearing how the Taliban take over Kabul, and there's some C-130 bomber in the sky, and so many Afghanis have to be evacuated for something that happened so quickly. these governments are very much organized in accepting them. They're way more organized than accepting, the tribe of Levi coming from Haiti after the earthquake. They're way more organized than they would be when the hurricane hit Puerto Rico a few years ago, and Puerto Ricans were asking for help. And Puerto Rico is American territory, right? There's taxes, everything, they come straight up there, and America wasn't, even prepared to help. But somehow, all these countries are very, very organized in helping these Afghans. You understand? There's no kind of uncontrolled spill over into European countries like Russia and France, like what happened when they killed Saddam Hussein. How a ton of them northern African countries spilled over into Italy, spilled over into Germany, and it was a huge problem. Somehow this Afghan situation is so organized. I'm wondering how long they've been planning it. You get what I'm saying? How long they really been planning it. So now, can you read that last part again?
Come. So Priti Patel has ordered officials to rewrite maritime laws to allow border force to turn boats around, forcing them to be dealt with by French authorities, according to reports.
Right. So now, because the maritime law says that wherever you intercept them, you had to take them in, she's pressing for them to rewrite the maritime law. You get the point? Now, this is the same woman who was in power when the Home Office wrongfully deported 83 Benjamites to Jamaica. I don't know if you remember that, and they admit that it was a mistake, that 83 people was not supposed to be deported. She's the same woman who recently was bragging in an article. They were supposed to deport 50 brothers back to the islands. 7 got deported, 43 got a delay because of legalities with the case, being able to appeal certain exceptions in the deportation that is legal exceptions. She's now pressing the law, where she's saying that the law is the reason why we couldn't deport more Israelites. However, she is doing all kind of backdoor deals to make it look like they're accepting the Afghans or making arrangements for them to go to some other country. You get me? Keep reading.
It comes following a G7 interior ministers meeting on Wednesday, during which Ms. Patel told her French counterpart that the British public expect to see results from French effort to prevent ongoing migrant crossings.
Right. So she's now saying the British public expects to see results, right? How many people even know France was involved? Nobody even. So what British public she talking about? This is how they lobby and push to, create these laws and these conditions to benefit the immigrants who they like versus the immigrants who they don't like. You get me? Yeah, some more? You need a second? Go ahead, please.
And what is odd about this is they
What's
want
this here? This oil?
that's strong.
How strong?
That's Jack Daniels strong.
Big man strong? Big man thing? No sweat. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what is odd about it too is that they want to deport the people that helped England.
That's
and
it.
They're so open to inviting everyone who they know is only going to exhaust England. They're not going to contribute.
Because even not to cut you off, even with this Afghan, how much they accept into England? 25 to get 5 up front and 20 in the next.
They're frozen, isn't it?
Khan, yeah. Instant was crushed.
Let me call them quickly.
If we get it back up running pretty quick, I'll be aware.
They might not know though.
The stream.
But they might not know.
No, I know on the stream it'll say like it's failed, like the try again thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's mad though, isn't it? Rob, how they organize, yeah? How they organize.
Where we land.
All right, what does that mean? All right, what does that mean? If you want, you can read it over one more time. All right,
Can't one can.
we back up. No sweat.
Come on, Council.
Isaiah 32 and 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness.
Mm-hmm. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
And
perhaps if you don't mind, let the brother read it. You have a Bible out? You don't mind reading, right? You sure? All right.
it's Isaiah 32 and 1.
32 and 1. Got it? No sweat. Perhaps you go ahead and start it until he's ready, all right?
Isaiah 32 and 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. Verse 2. And a man.
Let's start with that one. A king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. What does that mean?
If I may, is that talking about the last days, or it might be in a kingdom where there's going to be righteous judgment on the earth, where a king will rule according to the laws of God?
Well, I wouldn't even say the last days or in the kingdom. I would say in general. All right, I wouldn't put it so much to that. Meaning, like a king will reign in righteousness and princes in judgment, righteous judgment. You get the point? Come on. We are all nations of kings and princes, right? Okay, well, we all are, but in a situation of rulership, the princes will be the next men under the kings. You get what I'm saying? In that leadership, it might be the king's sons, it might be some nephews who in line for it. You understand? So now he's saying kings will rule in righteousness, and princes will rule in judgment. Go ahead.
And the man shall be
Nice and loud too. Nice and loud.
and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest.
And a covert.
Sorry, and a covert from the tempest. As rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
All right, no sweat. What does that mean? Come on.
So it means that in the context of a man, talking about a righteous man, meaning you can hide under him, meaning he'll be a help to you. So
say again, huh? That's it. Right? So it's letting you know a man shall be a hiding place, a covert from the wind, from the tempest, from what else? As a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. What does that mean? A shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Extend, raise your hand too, all right? No sweat, go ahead.
Like to keep you away from the sun. So
That's it. In a weary land, you traveling through land, and it ain't like today where you could jump in a Volkswagen or a Milk or something and turn the AC on high and drive 3 hours and you in a whole different time zone. Before you had to walk or on the back of a horse or have a cart pulled by a donkey. And the land might be weary, meaning to travel this land is hard. You get thirsty, it's sun, it's heat. And you might find a huge mini mountain. It's huge, it's big. So that if you write up on the stone, you have a good shadow. You get me? You find a shadow. The rock is going to be that shadow in a weary land where you could get some cool. You could come out the sun. Well, a righteous man is going to be like that. You get me point? A righteous man, a righteous kingdom, a righteous establishment is going to be that thing, that thing to protect you from the wind, the sun, the tempest. In other words, things that's going to trouble your life because these things could kill you. Go ahead.
like a shelter, innit?
It's like a shelter.
Sanctuary,
But no, the shelter ain't the building. The shelter is that man. You understand? In this context, that man of the Lord. You get me? Go ahead.
And the
A
eyes
little bit
of,
louder. A little bit louder. I know y'all ain't used to getting loud. We ain't got no inside voices in the UPK. You know? We all got outside voices.
and
Don't turn down. Come on.
and the eyes of
That's
them.
right. Go ahead.
And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim,
Mm-hmm.
and the ears of them that hear shall hearken.
Right? What does that mean?
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes of them that see him will brighten you up in it, and like you'll like whoa, like it will brighten up your day, like brighten up your life.
I want to say it shall not be dim. What does that mean?
Times will be great. Like what's
The eyes shall see, and the eyes will not be dim. What does that mean? Go ahead.
For me, it's just I guess like the eyes being dim, meaning this man won't let you down. Like you never look for him, and then he's like not what you expected him to
A
be.
little bit different. A little bit different. Anybody else? Sisters, y'all could answer too. You know, y'all ain't just in class to look nice. Y'all over there looking all pretty. Don't think you know what I mean. Y'all can answer. Go ahead.
I was being dim, like being in darkness. Can't see no more.
That's more it. Right? Why is that relevant? And what's the next part? The who have ears will what's it? And the ears of them that hear shall hearken. The ears could only hear. But why does it say and they shall hearken? Come on.
they'll obey.
But why is that important to say? Why is the Lord having Isaiah say that now?
Because of what we've been through.
Break it down a little more. I know what he's saying, but you have to break it down. You got to make it plain so that people with eyes can see and people with ears can hear.
It's lucky, sir, if I may.
Go ahead, who's that?
Raoban.
Go ahead, Ak.
So the eyes being made, it's like, is it made wide? Or sorry,
Say that one more time.
bright. Is it the eyes being made wide or brightened? It's like, yeah.
Turn them up a little bit more.
So the eyes be made wide.
Wider. Okay, wider, but it's you're right. It's being made wider, but it's still something else in it.
So is that your eyes have been open to the truth, and obviously once you know it, says your eyes shall not dim, so you won't return back to darkness, back to as you were when you didn't have the understanding. You were living a very dim life without the light of the Lord, the laws and the truth. And the ears hearken. That's you've been given the understanding. So obviously everyone can hear, but hearken is a deeper listening. Like you listen intently because you understand what's being taught, and you gain the understanding essentially.
Right. So Slaki, go ahead, sis.
Here, but is it when you begin to do it or begin to live it?
You begin to do it and live it. Both of you are correct. There's one little thing you're all missing, and Rahman, you was kind of on it. No, he did. That's all in what he was saying. Both of you all was saying it. There's one little thing. There's a reason why our eyes are dim and our ears we hear, but we don't understand. Who just told me Wiley was at the camp? You told me? Well, they say Wiley was at the camp Saturday, but he's about business. He going about his business. He stopped for a minute and then he gone again. There's a reason why your ears hear, but you ain't, you know what? Let me come up in this school. Or your eyes see, let me go call Parashi and the brothers and get up in here. There's a reason. There's a real reason for it. Come on.
Is it because you ain't got that mountain to shade you?
Well, that's what calling Parashia would be. That's what calling Captain Parashia would be. He would be that man here. You get me? But there's another reason. Sis, come on. Pass the mic up. Go ahead.
The Lord hasn't selected you to hear, or the Lord hasn't.
That's true too. I'll take that, but that's not the one I want. But I'll take that, right? That's from the Lord here. My sheep hear my voice. The Lord will who He wants to hear will hear. But there's something else. There's something else there that we don't see it because if I say it, I'll give it to you. Give me some more. The veil, come on. Hold on 1 second, brother. I'm saying something. Go ahead, Okay, this is what you want to do. No, that's true. I'm gonna lay a pass it to him. This is what you want to do. You have the idea. You have to damn near write a paragraph on it because it's you're gonna have to break it down to somebody who doesn't understand it. You understand? But you saying it is like saying something. We feel it in our spirit. We have an idea, but to verbalize it is something else. But verbalizing it is how you fish. When you go there and you start teaching on the street, you watching in the crowd and somebody stop and they just start doing this. It's because they've been thinking the shit and feeling it all along, but they've never been able to bring it out. But you ever hear musicians say this all the not the musician. They have a song. What's the name of the song? Lauryn Hill singing, "Killing Me Softly" with his song. When she say it's like he read her whole life out. Exactly, because the lyrics is speaking about what she going through, and it's so dead on point that she damn near is like, well, he killing me softly with the song here. That's damn near how you ought to be at camp. You ought to be breaking the shit down where it's like, how this nigga know? I grew up with no father and went to jail my whole life, and who he talking to? You get the point?
Right.
Come on, you don't have to do it right now. I'm just telling you that's where I want you. That's where your mind need to go with your idea, because you on it. Go ahead, you want to give it a shot?
I was saying, is this like I can't remember where it says they will remember who they are, so we'll hear that he's talking about us.
Okay, but there's something that's making us not remember. Parashi, you want to try?
For me, it's a guess. It's like all these ideologies and these religions out there.
There's something else. There's something else. There's something else that, okay, unless somebody tells it to you, you're not going to know it.
Like I said, if one like it, is it like a lust and their desires? Like
okay, that's a symptom of it. That's like blood versus the cut. I want to know what cuts you. I'm not about pulling up the blood. Hold on 1 second. Who's online? Hakayan?
Raban.
Raban, go ahead.
So it's like essentially how Esau basically whipped our identity out of us. So we've been destroyed now, and we've completely forgotten our identity. We don't know who we are. We don't know what's required of us. So when we hear like the truth, it doesn't really register with us because we don't see ourselves as the nation of Israel. Obviously, we talk to the nation of Israel, but people passing by.
You in the neighborhood, you in the neighborhood, but you're not by the house. You in the neighborhood. You close. You close. You coming in the country, but you're by the immigration line. You ain't clear customs yet. Yeah. Close. You're close though. Give me some. Anybody else? You just monitor online too, just in case people typing in. All right. Karafi, you need to be back there. If you just come and monitor the chat, please. Just too much.
If I may say, just in the back what you said about the cut and who caused the cut, so the oppressor, we got to show that it's all his fault. That's why we don't understand.
Okay, so why don't we understand?
Because we reverence him as somebody.
It's one word, It's one word. Let me give you one scripture and see if you can get. Give me Exodus.
Salakia Adon.
Who's that? Who's that? That's Tizapoan. Come on, Tizapoan. Let me hear you.
Cancer. I got the backlash of it, but I'm guessing the veil.
No, that's okay. You're right, but it's still too vague. It's still too vague. I need something that the brother you're talking to down there is Piccadilly Circus. That's up in Manchester. That the brother you're gonna be in Piccadilly Circus. He gonna lift his head up when he hear you say it.
Is it all oppression?
It's oppression. Give him a hand. God damn. So I thought they would never say that. It's oppression. You keep saying oppressor. You love the oppressor. This or the oppressor. The oppressor is there to oppress you, right? That's in for those who know the scripture in Exodus, when it say you'll put taskmasters over them. You understand? The taskmasters is to do what? To oppress you. It's to oppress you, to make your life what?
Hell.
Well, what is the job of the taskmasters?
To make your life a living hell.
To make your life hell. Now you go on the street and say that, everybody gonna listen. Why?
Like everyone's feeling it, but you have the words.
You ain't turn him down, right?
No, I'm saying.
Okay, no sir. Go ahead.
Everyone's feeling it, but
because everybody is oppressed and everybody living in hell. Everybody had to wake up and go hand the kids to somebody else and make it to the slavery. You had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to reach to work for 8. If you have kids, if you're single, you might could cut it in an hour and a half. Because you still have to wake up and watch yourself in the mirror sad for about a half hour.
God.
Sit down there and watch that face and be like, what the hell is this going on here? And then get ready and go. But really, you had to put in 3 hours before you clock in that you're not getting paid for. And then you had to spend another 2 on the M back. And you and the sitter getting into an argument because you really don't want to go pick up them kids. Not because you don't love them, but nigga, you need a goddamn break. Shit. Just keep them for about a half hour longer. But the sitter fed up with them too. Am I saying anything that you all don't know about? Everybody can understand that shit, right?
Oppression drives a wise man mad.
It's a give him a hand. Next time, say it loud. You know what I mean? Oppression makes a wise man mad. You understand? And because of that oppression, our eyes are dim and we hearing shit, but we ain't hearkening onto it because the oppression is so heavy. All we focused on is the job, money, bills, food, rent, job, money, bills, food, rent. You get the point? Somewhere in there, the kids come and, fall in. But really, our priority is not like our oppressor's priority, who could set up a fund, a college fund for the goddamn children and send them away to Naples. If you're in the UK, they send you to America for vacation, send you to Italy somewhere. Meanwhile, you got to figure out how you doing this shit. You get the point? Who had a hand up? Go ahead.
I was going to say there's a saying in England where we say they just eat, sleep, and shit.
And that's life. And that's life, huh? That's our life. So why? Now, would your eyes be full of hope and bright and looking forward to a new day if that's your life? No, your eyes going to be dim. You're just going to be... You ever see why all people look like we always high? Even if some of us not even high. We just look just beaten. That's why. Why we can't hear things. You ever notice we have problems focusing? We just, you sitting in a class and they breaking down something. And if you learn this, you could get $1 million a year. And our people would be in there. And we just zone out into the bill that's due. Or into a new slavery. Or into some problem with the children. Or some health issue. We just not there because of oppression. Oppression is making our eyes dim and our ears not hearken. You get the point? Come on.
That's why oppressors always say, why you like not smiling, man? Why you always got frown face?
Well, he is the oppressor. He can't oppress you and then be identified as the oppressor. He's the oppressor and also the devil, which is why this whole thing with Priti Patel and the British government and France is so good to understand, because they're oppressing us. She don't want to be known as the reason for all these boats being turned back. So they put France in a damn figure 4. And now France all jammed up. You get the point? France is fully jammed up with this whole deal right here. You get me? Let's read some more in Isaiah. Right, read from verse 3, please.
And And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall not hearken.
And that's a little louder, please.
The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammers shall be ready to speak plainly.
All right. What does that mean?
So
go ahead,
Right, so like the other one.
Hold on 1 second to Zap one.
Hold on, cancel.
I'll let him go. I'll repeat it again.
No sweat to Zap one. Go ahead,
Slakia, just read the last bit again. The tongue of the
Read it one more time. We had Isaiah 32 and what 4?
4. Isaiah
32 and 4. All right.
Isaiah 32 verse 4. And the heart also of the rash shall understand.
Let me get that little fan you'll have, if you don't mind. So like a little spoiler, you'll have this kind of funny weather here.
Yeah,
it ain't hot, but it hot. It ain't cold, but it
Isaiah 32.
This weather oppressing me. Hell.
Isaiah 32 verse 4.
I didn't get no sleep last night. The weather just kept waking. Wake up, nigga. Wake up. Sweat. That's a lot here. Go ahead.
The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge.
Maybe put it here. Let's just see what it is.
Right, Salakia. Yeah, so the heart of the rash is like, you know, the how can I put it? The rebels amongst us then. What Esau would term as rebels then, right? So
rebels define that.
the ghetto youth then, right? The you know, us man, like us coming from the streets, right? How we would be rash towards each other, right? How we would treat each other bad before, right? How you'd see another brother and want to rob his chain or his whatever is, you know, his belongings, right? And so on and so forth. The heart of the rash. So that's brothers being rash against each other, right? Treating each other bad, etc. Yeah, the heart of the rash shall understand knowledge. So they're gonna understand now, as you stated before, the oppression. When you put it in that way, the oppressors and who's being oppressed, etc. Then they're gonna understand the knowledge of the Bible.
Listen, I already told people you a badass dude and all. Get this up on a hand. Listen, you let me pass the class over to priest and officer to Zapoana. Listen, you break that shit down better than I. I was like, well, hold on, what? Only thing is, don't use rebels, all right? Because we ain't rebels. We just people who oppress. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, Salakia, I was just looking for a term. I couldn't figure it out at this point, so I just says who Esau terms as rebels. You know what I mean?
Just say brothers and sisters in the world.
Right, cause yeah.
You know what I mean? Those of our people who are rash, both brothers and sisters, our children, the 12 tribes of Israel, we would be considered the rash. You understand? The rash. You're rushing to do something. You're not thinking. You don't have understanding. You just reacted, right? That's how the oppression has reduced us. The oppression has reduced us as a people to animalistic type behavior, where we only care about what we could eat, where we could sleep, and where we could take a dump. That's it. That's our life. You get the point? And what's the part? What about and the tongue of the stammerers ready to speak plainly? Who have that one? You want to try it still to Zap one? Or you want to
answer? So, like, I mean, we that didn't have a voice. You understand? There's no one to speak up for us. There's no one, you know, in any position for us to speak. And then also, we didn't have. Yeah, we ain't got a voice. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in this world haven't got a voice. So now the Lord is giving us a voice. Now the Lord is raising up the 12 tribes of Israel and giving them a voice and letting them speak. Like there's a title what the one West uses, let the Hebrews speak, right? So that's the Lord giving us a voice like via the I.S.U.P.K. If that's
I'll take that. I'll take that. Anybody else?
No, the heart. Sorry, the heart of the rash. Is that like the heart of the irrational?
Yes. Right. Is the same word here? It's just the English word for it. But rash meaning irrational.
Yeah.
This at the first.
Because of course we no longer. I don't want to say under the oppression, but okay. When you're oppressed, you're literally at war, but you don't know you're in a war. You're just getting hit. And you don't know why you're getting hit. You don't know where it's coming from. So what would that make you? Angry and just whatever. And just do whatever. Because you're in a fight. When you find that man of the Lord, he takes the blinders off for you and say, brother, you in war. And you stand up and eyes now is like, oh shit, this is war. All right, this is what I do. And now you're no longer rash because you move bad in war, you could die. You get the point? You brothers and bucks, you drop that guard and swing, you open your chin, you could get knocked out. But before you in the ring and you getting hit, you're just feeling it, but you don't know what the hell hitting you. You don't know why you're being hit. That's oppression. That's really psychologically what oppression is.
So would the rash be brothers in the world making silly moves?
Yeah, basically, it's your life before the truth. It's brothers in the world, sisters in the world, just without the truth. Just you ever wonder what's the stars of abortion? It's oppression. You hear stories about women throwing babies through the window. That's a real stories. Your first baby, and whoever your first child, you in the house with the child, you could understand it because I could. When I heard it, I was like, I don't condone what she did, but I understand how she get there. She's the weaker vessel. She had to work. She had to pay bills. She feeling rejected because the brother ain't there. The baby wouldn't stop goddamn crying. A baby is not something you could rationalize to. A baby is not something like you work, 16 hours a day. You come home for sleep. If that baby hungry at 3, it's gonna cry. You think that baby care if you had to get up at 7? The baby don't care. But if you don't realize you're under oppression, you'd look at the baby like an enemy. Like, why are you crying so much? I have to work. You see women talking to their children, and you looking at like, sis, he don't understand you. You're gonna just have to realize this is war. Go to war. Go mix that milk or put the breast out and put it in his mouth. You gotta go to war. Don't sleep. You're not gonna die. You get the point? No, that's a different level. No, without that, brother, that baby going through the window. That baby going in the trash. You get the point? It's the psychological effect. You're really at war, right? You understand what I'm saying? Come on.
Like these UK man would understand because over here, most of the man them will say like, anywhere I see you, or like trust me, like you can see your enemy. They can be in the middle of town and it's going off straight away because of the oppression. They're ready to go at any moment.
Right, but now listen, even brothers who in the street, right? You over here it's called what? Roadman, right? 2 roadman have a beef for whatever reason, whether it's woman, drugs, block, whatever. He knows who his enemy is. Does he move rash? You wait and you plot on him. You track his movements. Send some broad to befriend him so she could tell you where he at. And then you hit. Because why? You know you're at war. Right. When you don't know you're at war, it's something else. It's a different level of why is this happening? But it feels on purpose. Don't you feel like people say, Lord, why me? That's you. You know this shit is on purpose. Yeah, and it's you because you're the 12 tribes of Israel. You get me? So now, say again? Your spirit knows, but you not conscious of it. So when he said the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly, what does that mean?
So it's that analogy of someone who they find it hard to get the words out. Basically meaning their oppression, they know it but can't explain it.
They can't say nothing. And when you're oppressed, you can't say shit out. When you're oppressed, you can't say nothing. You know what I mean? You can't speak out. It's certain things you can't even say here, right or wrong. Like y'all have a law. I don't know if it's a law or not, but the Paki is offensive, right? Brother, Paki is short for Pakistan.
Right.
That's it. Aussie is short for Australia. the older brothers and sisters would tell you, you go in with a woman, go get your Frenchies. You know what a Frenchie is? Those was
A
the
French,
old school. Go ahead.
Salakia, a French woman.
No, that was
Frenchie.
the old school name for condoms. They would call them Frenchie, but
Oh.
it was French something. You get the point?
Mm.
Afghani is short for Afghanistan. Paki is short for Paki. Paki is not some made up word or some word. It's not nigger. Nigger is not short for nothing. How the hell you could feel offended at Paki and relate it to it's like when people call you nigger. No, it's not. Nobody ever sold your mother. Nobody ever raped your mother into slavery. Nobody ever hung you from a tree because and called you Paki. Nobody ever did that to you. You just mad because white people call you Paki because Paki's just too goddamn long to say all the damn time.
Right.
You get the point? Go ahead.
I'd say Esau, what he's done, he's put so much venom with that word Paki, he's made it into not their name, but a racist statement.
Well, even that, and that's why I want to get into this topic tonight. Even that is not saying you lying, but even that is a lie. What venom has he done to the Pakistanis? They have businesses, they're in the banks, they are approving loans. What venom? What has he loaded the world with so much that you being Pakistani hinders you from life? You don't have to change your voice. Priti Patel is a Pakistani. She's Paki. She in charge of who comes into the country. Sadiq Khan, isn't he a Paki? And he's the mayor of London. What venom has he put in? Dave Lamy been a politician forever. Is he the mayor of anything? Nothing. Is he in charge of home anything? He hardly in charge of his home. Hell, much less the home office. There's no venom with their shit. But with ours,
Yeah.
there's enough. There's enough of it. You get me? But now the oppression, we would find it hard to verbalize things because we don't know. Or you don't have the heart to say it because of the oppression. You understand? When brother, you come into the truth, you're gonna have the heart to say the white man is the devil. You're gonna have
That's
the heart
right.
to say Jesus Christ is black. You're gonna have the heart to say the water sis for that whatever you have in your hand. That's give the right hand a hand. So like it's a water. I don't know what this is, but try it. Now, it doesn't seem like it's oppression. Oh, this the E and J. It's like I might take a little. I'll probably pass. No, this one right here. That's the water. It's a water. I didn't know that's the Irk and Jerk. Salakia. That's what we call it. That E and J is a different energy. Salakia. To water. But you get the point. It gives you a certain amount of heart to say things because that's what's needed to free your people. It's needed to free your people. You get me? So somebody was saying Salakia. We good? All right, go back to the article now. Karathia, please. All right.
Come. Members of the border force are being given special training to handle migrant boats, but would only deploy the pushback tactics when deemed practical and safe to do so.
All right. So now, just to help you understand, members of that, what they call it, what force?
Pushback for
The pushback tactics.
the
Border force, right? I think that's the French Coast Guard or whatever coalition they have. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like so. When you're on the French adults, it's like now they're for the UK, and they stop anything illegal from France coming into
UK.
England, say. So,
And
England.
they're with England, but they're on the French
land.
side. It's like damn near not ambassadors, but they part of the embassy over there, and they're securing English interests.
Come on.
Now, there was part of the deal that Priti Patel had with the French earlier this year when they said they'll pay 54 million. It was to give them more boats to patrol the waters. England come now and say, we ain't paying you all until you all turn these damn immigrants back because England don't want the heat. They're saying we can't turn them back because it's against maritime law. So now they're saying the border force is saying we can't turn them back only under certain circumstances because, again, the maritime law states you have to rescue them first because turning them back could mean they die. whether the boat will sink or they go back and they flee in political violence, they'll be killed, stuff like that, right? Go ahead.
And safe to do so. According to the number of newspapers, reports suggest such operations were likely to be restricted to sturdier, bigger migrant boats and only used in very limited circumstances.
Yes, and it's only used for sturdier, bigger migrant boats. Sis, you need one of these? No, sir. We have another one? You have it there? You want to put it on the chair or something for the sister, or you can take this one? Just grab one of these. It's right here. Yeah. It's probably set to the hot one. This one kind of cool here, though. If not, she could take this one. You might have to open the door, open the make sure all the windows open. What about the back window? Is it open? No sweat. I know it's uncharacteristic English weather. Good night. This is the Lord trying to tell you all buy air conditioners. No sweat. You could she could take this one here and sit on the chair if you want. Please.
Very limited circumstances. A Boris Johnson's official spokesperson did not confirm the plans, but said the government was looking at a range of safe and legal options.
Right, he looking at a range of safe and legal options, but he ain't confirmed the plan because really they really been accepting these immigrants for a while. But now that they're taking all these Afghans, they're trying to throttle back what they was accepting all the time. Now, the point here I'm saying is they got money to spend to secure to have the security for these immigrants here who come from countries that are known to be terroristic in nature. Today is 9/11, coincidentally. How many years since 2001? We're talking about 20-year anniversary. 20-year anniversary of them blowing up some goddamn towers. These people coming from countries like where they cut the heart out of that security guard in London, where they was from, some of them African countries.
Nigerian guy called Lee Rigby.
Lee Rigby, right? Okay. Right? He was the one who cut the heart out, or is Lee Rigby heart got cut out?
Who the head, sir? Try to move his head.
No, but they cut his heart out too, You sure? Double check her. I think he opened his chest up with the meat cleaver. He was walking around talking with it like it's there's no big deal, and talking about y'all did this in my country, y'all did this here. Y'all sure you're good back there? You sure? All right, no sweat. Yeah, man, this one good, man. What are you talking about? This one hot. Man's not hot, man. Man's not hot. Big Shaq. Nah, nothing Big Shaq. Right? Let's check, double check. I believe he took his heart out. I believe.
Lee Rigby, a post-mortem examination showed that Lee Rigby died from multiple incised wounds. Lee Rigby supported British Armed Forces charity, Help for Heroes, and was wearing a hoodie supporting charity. He was attacked in the 5 days after his death. Nah, he doesn't.
I believe it was his heart. I believe because that's what the Muslims do. That's where the Muslims with the red beard. The beard is from all the blood, and they would cut the heart out of their enemies. It's something that they do, right? That's what their old traditions are. I believe that might cut the heart out of the God, right? But anyway, they bring in these people in from these countries, but they all have the energy to deport us illegally, right? Any more on the article with Priti Patel?
Boris Johnson, official spokesman, did not confirm plans, but said the government was looking for a range of safe and legal options to deal with migrant channel crossings. Asked whether plans to send boats back to France had been approved by the PM, the spokesman said, without getting into operational matters, as part of our ongoing response, we continue to evaluate and test a range of safe and legal options.
Safe and legal options. Go ahead.
safe and legal options to find ways of stopping small boats making this dangerous and unnecessary journey. He
People swim the English Channel, Boris. How dangerous is this? These devils literally jump in the damn water and swim the English Channel. How dangerous is this? Is it more dangerous than hiding in a wheel well, like most of our uncles did to go from Barbados or Jamaica or St. Lucia to end up in Sweden or Norway or Britain? Is it more dangerous than that shit? Is it more dangerous than hiding somewhere in the hull of a boat or or stowing away on boats? Me personally, I have an uncle that got thrown overboard twice. He's in Norway now, thrown overboard twice from Trinidad, stowing away on them boats, them cruise liners that used to come. He swam back to the land, was sick for months. As soon as he got well, back on the boat again. But he's saying safe and legal ways for the English Channel. But in the meantime, we're going to find this. So while you're finding these safe and legal ways, where's the boats going? Straight to London. Straight to all them Portsmouth down there? Straight to Portsmouth. You get the point? Go ahead.
I think what they mean by safe and legal ways, they want to police what comes in. That's what they're
Well, okay, this is what it is. These people come from countries that England has interest in. And safe and legal means I cannot mishandle your people or else we'll have a political problem with your people. That's what this means. The reason why we get treated the way we are is we don't have oil and gold to bargain with them with, or an army to bargain with them with. You get the point? So now that's what they're looking at. Where else? Where we keep reading Karathia, please. Slack here, go ahead, Prasha.
No, they were trying to take out Lee Rigby's.
Is his head? I vaguely remember something with the heart. No, is he Lee Rigby? Was he on duty? Was he a soldier or something?
He was a handler.
You sure it's not his heart? They say his head. Okay, no sweat. I'm gonna leave it. If it says his head, it's his head. I have in my mind the heart. For some reason, I have in my mind the heart. And the hand might have the bloody hands with the cleaver. Yeah, well, that's the one I'm talking about. Where's his head? Now, you safe and legal ways for him to come over. Meanwhile, Raheem Sterling parents came on the boat, and he trying to win the damn European Cup for you. Ian Wright, Stan Collymore, give me some more. Andy Cole, Dwight York. There's a brother, I'm gonna give you the story just now. Something Hoyt, he's from Leeds. His sister ran for the Olympics for England in Russia and somewhere else. And he don't have no papers, Zach. He don't have no papers. None. I'm gonna send you the story shortly. You get the point? But you trying to find a safe and legal way for these people to come in. Meanwhile, you wrongfully deport 83 of our people that you admit to. And Priti Patel is mad because of the next 50 she tried to deport, only 7 actually got deported. And she's mad about that, right? She's so mad, she's now lobbying. Okay, who are the people who England tries to deport of our people?
mainly Caribbean.
That's what they say. Well, the Caribbean, but that's what I'm saying, our people. But who of our people do they say is who they try to deport? They say criminals, right? Now, what kind of criminals do you think they're trying to deport?
They say a few rapists. They keep saying rapists, like all black people rapists.
They keep saying rapists because that's a dog whistle word for the white man. Because for him, when another nation like us is accused of rape, it's not accused of raping our women. It's theirs. Oh. And that's a dog whistle thing for a white man where my woman is in danger, I have to kill everybody. So that's a dog whistle word. That's one thing. I read it up. They said as little as 12 months of a sentence qualifies you to be deported. Now, what could you get 12 months sentence for in England? Anything. Anything. DUIs. You could get 12 months suspension for that, right? Violating your parole. You could get for that, right? Anything. So this is not really criminals. This is not, the Turks and the Polish who bring in AKs across the border. All these shootings that happen. Where them guns coming in from? Jamaica? No. Barbados? No. They coming in from Bridgetown? No. They coming in from over, So they're coming from the Albanians. So who is the criminals you're really trying to deport? Right? One of them, not Ponzi. What's the dude name? Cortalia? Pretty something. Hold on, I'll tell you his name just now. All right. Uh, Hold on 1 second. You have some up there? No, sir. Oh, okay. I teach you in the class. No, you need me right now. Okay, no sweat. No sweat. I could get a call, but maybe down in another hour or two. All right, no sweat. All right, you have some up there. All right. I'm gonna tell you who it is just now. Bear with me one, all right? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear it. Yeah, you can. Let me hear it. Let me just at least hear it.
So sister, Nika Brown, Slack, yeah. Can I get a breakdown on the Matthew 9, 36, 38?
No sweat. We'll grab that. Make sure and keep it for me, all right? Oh boy. Hold on. I looked this up recently. Okay, look up for me. Freddie David, Cortelia Pruthi. Cortelia is a funny pronunciation. Aautilya Pruthi. Pruthi. Cortelia Pruthi and Freddie David. Right? Also look up Hush Puppy. I believe that's the full name. Hush Puppy, Hushpuppi. Cortelia Pruthi. Right? It's not going to come up in your common searches because, of course, they're not black. But if these men were black, you would already know their names. No sweat. Go ahead.
Cortelia Pruthi.
Mm-hmm.
Great frauds in history.
What?
Great frauds in history.
Go ahead.
Cortelia Pruthi Ponzi scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Cortelia Nandan Pruthi persuaded a large number.
Just that name alone, I don't want to hear shit that nigga got to say. Go ahead.
Persuaded a large number of clients, including famous sportsmen and actors, to part with over 100 million, which he used to fund his playboy lifestyle. Cortelia Nandan Pruthi was born in India in 1970 and moved to the UK at the age of 15.
Around the same age that most of our brothers and sisters come over after their parents send for them. Right? Go ahead.
In 2005, he set up a company, Business Consulting International, with his associates, Kenneth Peacock and John Anderson, taking advantage of Peacock's membership of Surrey's County Cricket Club. The trio persuaded a large number of clients, including cricketer Darren Gough and actor Jerome Flynn, to hand over money, claiming they could make returns of up to 13% a month by lending at high rates to businesses unable to borrow from banks.
Right. So now this is called a Ponzi scheme, right? You have different types. You have the pyramid scheme. People come with this pyramid thing, get people to join and pay you. Yeah, you know, you have a certain $10,000 buy-in and you get something back in return. It was created by some I think he's Italian named Charles Ponzi, right? He's the one who's famous for it. Right. In America, you had in 2008 and 9 where the economy crashed. You had Bernie Madoff, who was huge. He did a huge Ponzi scheme together with Lehman Brothers, and damn near destabilized the whole of the American market with this housing scheme, where they was given these homes with high interest rates to black homeowners, knowing that we couldn't afford it, so that we'll default on the loans and then be able to now resell the same house back again. That whole thing came to surface, and Wall Street was kind of hinged upon the loans. So they was blaming black people for a while until it came out that it's Madoff and Lehman Brothers with this damn Ponzi scheme taking advantage of black people. That's what caused the economy to crash. This Pruitt dude did similar things here with this Ponzi scheme in UK. Go ahead.
Instead of lending money, Pruitt used funds he received from investors to support an extravagant lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Among his assets were 16 luxury sports cars, including 2 Ferraris, a Lamborghini, and several Bentleys.
Mm-hmm.
He rented a mansion for $20,000 a month
Mm-hmm.
and bought a casino citation private jet.
Now, do they tell you how much money he took? This is over 100 million, right?
Come on, Carl.
That's one dude, Freddie David. You'll find him yet? Look up Freddie David. He's another one who's famous in the UK for stealing so much money from people. These niggas ain't deported out.
That's right.
They ain't deported. So these little 12-month little, infractions that you want to label a whole man life a criminal for and deport him is really BS. You get me? Give me Freddie David out.
Specialist prosecutors being major investment scammers to justice. Specialist prosecutors from the Crown Prosecution Service have brought 3 major investment scanners to justice since the end of September. Though its dedicated specialist fraud division, the CPS is cracking down on the atrocious crimes which often result in huge financial loss to victims who have invested their savings and pensions in good faith.
Mm-hmm.
Fraudulent investment schemes are complex and designed to appear legitimate, meaning it can take time for investigators to follow the money trail and identify those responsible for the criminal conduct.
Do you get it, Freddie? Pass it out. Pass it to him real quick. No, go ahead, read it out. Just read it. Just read it.
For Roadster, Freddie David ordered to pay 1.3 million to victims. If the notorious swindler does not pay up, he faces 8 years in jail.
Yeah, they're not talking about deporting him though. You get the point? He's fine. He's good. And he's facing 8 years, which is way exceeding 12. But meanwhile, I'm selling this article. Priti Patel is now lobbying to decrease the legal requirement to deport, meaning less than 12 months. So if you get 3 months for something, she want to deport you. Come on.
I know people have done their sentence and then got deported after.
Exactly. You get the point? Exactly how it goes. Let me send this to you here, Karathi, please. And just read this real quick, all right? And then we move on. Yeah, go ahead.
What she ain't doing is deporting her brothers that rape all them girls, man.
You know Thank you. Say it again.
All them race, what do they call them again? The Asian grooming gangs.
The grooming gangs.
They even called Asian grooming gangs. Like the government seen that it's an Asian thing, and they ain't been deported.
They ain't been deported.
Right.
They even categorize that some kind of serious crime. They categorize us all the time. And yet, why don't they send them back? But meanwhile, Boris is saying we have to have legal and safe means for these boats to come over. You know, we only going to turn certain vessels back if they're big. Because if they're big, they're not immigrant vessels. They're trade vessels that immigrants hiding on. If they're big boats. If you could afford for a big boat, you really could afford to come in legally. The small boats is when you're hiding, trying to get past, dock somewhere, and run up in the country. But the big boats is them big trade boats that the immigrants is on, and you've seen it all the time where they'll be working on the boat, shipmen, cleaning the boat, whatever. And when they get there, that's how they pay their passage. And when they get there, they come off on a legal dock because the boat is a trade boat. So he's saying if we find enough of them on those boats, we could send them back because the boat is sturdy enough to make the trip back. But everybody else, we're waiting to find legal ways to send them back. But our people, they deport them regardless. They said 83 brothers and sisters got deported wrongfully. It wasn't supposed to be deported, and ain't nobody trying to bring them back. You got to point.
Right.
Shorter jail sentences now qualify foreign offenders in the UK for deportation.
Say it one more time.
Shorter jail sentences now qualify foreign offenders in the UK for deportation.
And this foreign offenders ain't somebody who come across in 2018. This foreign offender, they consider you foreign as long as you ain't got no papers in there from 1960 something. You get the point? Go ahead.
In early January 2021, the British Home Secretary Priti Patel touted new regulations to deal with foreign offenders in the United Kingdom. Patel is seeking to look.
When she wanted this done?
January 2021.
In January, she wanted to increase or decrease the qualification to get deported, meaning more people get deported. Who's she making room for? Yes, what I'm telling you. This whole thing, don't be surprised if it comes out in 20 years that this Afghan thing was years in the making and we were the victims of it.
That's right.
Why in 2021, in the middle of COVID, will you want to send people home to a country that doesn't have, it's not first world, they don't have the medical infrastructure you have? Why would you burden them? Why won't you just keep these people around? Because you're making room for this. That's what you've been making room for. Go ahead.
Patel is seeking to lower jail time required for deportation. This comes only months after a shocking proposal to deal with asylum seekers were released.
Right? They have a proposal to deal with asylum seekers, meaning what? The people who coming across on them boats, right? Not our people. Go ahead.
Unlike the far-fetched measures proposed in the late 2020, these new regulations are likely to be implemented. Current law, under the UK Borders Act 2007, a non-British citizen will be automatically considered for deportation if they are convicted of a crime and their jail sentence is for at least 12 months.
It's for at least 12 months. Once you get a sentence like that, you are considered for deportation. Now consider the British legal system as to filling quotas from the stop and frisk nonsense to, disturbing the peace, whatever. How much brothers and sisters done, have 12 months for something they're not even guilty of, and that qualify you to be deported? Now she wants to even lower that amount. Like, we can't get rid of you faster. You get the point? We can't get rid of you faster. Let me just give you a little bit of history between Britain and India. The Industrial Revolution was around what year? Anybody knows? Just look it up and see, all right? Look it up and see. And around that time, look up what was the main, like how oil runs the world today. Look up at that time in England, what was just before the Industrial Revolution, what was the main commodity of trade? Say again? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's us, man. That was us. The driving force for Britain's economy and
right.
the
You for sure right, Karathia.
Was it Kane?
It's us, but it wouldn't say it's us because, of course, we consider cattle or like a machine. So you have to look for what we produced.
Yeah. So that's the other one.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
I think it's the wrong one.
No, go ahead. Let me hear it.
All right. From the Wikipedia, the Industrial Revolution was the transition to the new manufacturing process in Europe and the United States in the period from between 1760 to 1820.
Now keep that year in mind. 1760 to 1820, late 1700s was the Industrial Revolution. It was the period of time in which the manufacturing process was changed. Manufacturing what? Does it tell you?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
This transition included going from hand production and methods to machines.
Hand production of what? Textiles. What was the number one producer of textiles just before? No, not the cotton, but the textiles is a downstream from the cotton or silk. The textiles would be your linen or your, materials, your bolts of cloth. Who was the number one producer of textiles just before the Industrial Revolution?
No. So that's the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been us, I believe. Nope. That if what I was saying before.
Nope. Let's look it up. Let's Google it.
It's lucky I don't, because I'm using my phone. I can't.
No sweat. Somebody else can pull it up. No. Remember, the Industrial Revolution was Europe and then America. So who was the number one producer of textiles for Europe, particularly England? Sis, come on. Say again. Ireland.
Was it India?
It was India. It was India. Britain used to buy all the textiles from India and then use it for the home and then ship it all over the place. India was rich. Britain started taxing them and oppressing them to get the textiles cheaper. That's around the time when Gandhi had the little revolution. Our oppressor, to understand him, you must understand the lust for money. That's it. Like the brother say, like in England, like what's he saying? Eat, sleep, and shit. He is that, but he wants that. Just think he wants that. He just wants as much as he could eat, as much as he could sleep, and as much as he could defecate. We don't want it, but that's our life. Go ahead.
The national anthem says the sun will never set on Britannia's holds.
You understand? So he has a desire for more. But to get more, you'll have to have it. You must be able to get it for less. Okay, brothers like to buy a good drink. Will you buy a bottle of, Jack Daniels if it's 100 pounds? But if Jack Daniels is 10 pounds, how much bottles are you buying? Yeah, a few, right? Just think like that with the white man. He wants to enjoy it, but he don't want to pay for it. So after the oppression went bad with India, they decided we needed another plan. Now, they was planning this while they was oppressing India for the textiles. Then they came up with the machines that would make the textiles. Now, the textiles it says in the history, you could check it out. The textiles they would produce was far inferior to the handmade textiles of India, but it could produce much more faster. So with that, they destroyed India's economy. Destroyed it. India went into depression. This was between what? 1760 and 1820.
1820.
Right? That's the Industrial Revolution. So by the time 1820 come around, the machines are in full swing. It's no longer a revolution, it's commonplace. Now, from your knowledge, around the 1820s, what started happening?
Was that when the East Indians went to the Caribbean?
Yes. Give him a hand. He went straight to the point. Now, you think it's by chance? No. Around the early 1800s, you started having increased slave revolts. You could go to the history from Trinidad to Barbados to Jamaica. The slaves started revolting a whole lot. And of course, our oppressors, he's counting the cost. He's like, listen, we can't continue out in these fires. We need new slaves. So you could go check it. They made not treaties, but they made agreements with each country, with the colonial representatives down there and the local slave masters, to have a transition period that would eventually be called emancipation. Your emancipation was tied to the Industrial Revolution and the East Indians coming over to replace you. You didn't fight for emancipation. It just got too expensive to keep your black ass in slavery. You understand? So from 1820 onwards, they started navigating the plan of freeing the slaves and bringing, not slaves, we need something better to call them so they don't revolt, indentured laborers, and they would come across with a wage and keep the language, and we'll give them land, we'll give them a contract. They could work for 10 years or 20, and at the end of it, you have the option for a paid ride back home, or you could stay and buy land and work more. You could go look this up. I ain't lying.
All that Willie Wilberforce, all garbage. It's cool to push like there was some good white people. You had Willie Wilberforce, you had Bentley, and all these men fought for your freedom. But all that's cool because it's always a plan.
We have the UPK is the home of the truth. That's what I'm gonna tell you. It's the home of the truth. Willie Wilberforce, and it was all tied to money, and everybody has interest. Remember, these are straight up gangsters you're dealing with. If he's gonna make this move, he has to make it look clean. So, Willie, go up there and speak. Give them a good speaking. Here's money from the slaves. Campaign all through England because why? What did Priti Patel say that the English public wants to see?
But English public wants to see England look humane, like take deception and taking on.
Does the English public even know about anything? No. But she has to make it appear like that. The same thing with Wilberforce and them. This whole thing with the East Indians coming to the Caribbean was to replace the slaves. I'm gonna ask you one more thing. They paid the East Indians a wage. They paid for their voyage. They paid for their food on the voyage. They housed them. They was given the option of land and land or a paid trip back to India. Whose money paid for it? The 200 years of free labor before, that paid for the East Indians. So anytime a Paki or some Afghani say you're lazy and you're shiftless, tell that fool our blood paid for their parents. Right. So shut him out. Right. You get the point? And it's the same thing happening now. They cleared the plantations. They said you go free. But then they give sharecropping. Because you couldn't find no jobs, you had to go back to the slave master and agree to work his land for a percentage of the land. You give him some of the crop. No, with us, the slave master don't have to house you no more. He don't have to feed you. He don't have to take care of your medical. Now he have room to put the East Indians. He have medical to take care of them, and he have more money to pay them. You get the point?
Come on.
What do you think is happening now? It's the same thing again. It's okay. Let me just say the same thing. Let me not misspeak. The historical incidents line up. That's the best way I could put it to protect myself for when they say, how can you say it's the same thing? Well, historically, I'm seeing a pattern here. You get the point? I'm seeing a pattern here. But of course, oppression makes our eyes dim to it and our ears not see it. You understand? When people hear the UPK saying it, they'll be like, you're crazy. Come on, Slacking.
The East Indians are still ruling Jamaica now, and then they give us Camilla Harris like she's one of us.
Exactly.
East Indian.
Because it was a plan to rule. Get the point? And it's going to be a plan to rule Soho Road and wherever else in Birmingham and London and Manchester and Liverpool and Gloucester, they're going to put these Afghans. Go ahead.
And can that parallel with the Mexicans also?
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing with the tribe of I.S.U.P.K in America. You have to demonize a people before you can eradicate them. That's what they do. Go ahead, Prasha.
One other thing, it's just on the back of that, in Handsworth Park, I mean, like once a year, they used to have an event called a carnival, and it was the East Indians. They writ to the council and said that they can't take all of the loud songs and then the noise, and that's why if you realize now with the carnival, even though it's in the world, it's not held in Handsworth Park anymore. But a lot of people don't know that it was those East Indians that writ to the council said we can't take all of the loud noise
and no, listen, they say we can't take the loud noise. Did anybody tell them, well, go back to where you come from? Nobody can say that, right? But when we complain about something, what do they say? Go back. Go back. You don't like it here? Go back to wherever. Go back to Africa. Go back to Jamaica. Go back wherever. But nobody tell nobody. Well, listen. There's a plane leaving for Calcutta tomorrow. Nobody don't say nothing like that. There's a plane leaving for Delhi. Go now. Go catch the bus. You need me to come by the coach, not the bus, the coach. Salakia. You know what I mean?
Come on, Con. And then what's funny is that event was going on way before East Indians was even here.
But of course, they don't respect it. They don't respect it. When we making noise is a problem, but they get to make noise. At camp, You know, they came and told us to turn down the speaker last Saturday, right? But nobody told the Arab playing the a call to praise. You know, y'all didn't hear it from the tent. Right there, that's a religious, that's bullying. If they want to say what we doing is bullying, why the hell I have to hear that? But they respect them and they don't respect us. But once again, oppression is going to dim your eyes and your ears. You ain't going to hear everything. You get me? Anybody else? Let me get give me a little more in that article. I think that's the one. Hold on. Huh? Go ahead.
This is justified on the basis that the deportation of a foreign criminal is for the public good.
Right, the deportation of a criminal is for the public good. That's what they're saying. England would be better off if we get rid of these Benjamites, if we get rid of these road men and these road women and blah 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 blah. But Pruti, they didn't get rid of him, and Freddie, they didn't get rid of him, and the Albanians, they don't get rid of them, and the Polish who coming in with all the guns and drugs, they don't get rid of them, and that's better for the public. Because last I checked, Wiley ain't try to cut nobody head off in the middle of London. That's right. All he do was talk out against some long-nosed Jewish bastard for stealing all his goddamn money. You get the point? Right. Last I checked, these brothers and sisters, ain't nobody take no van and mow people down on London Bridge. You remember that? Terrorist attack? That wasn't black people. Come on.
I'm actually noticing when you walking towards the camp, you see the barricade there. Every city has one
because of that.
They're mowing people down so much. They got terrorist barriers now.
They got terrorist barriers now. You get even a few years ago when they stole the dump truck in Paris and ran it down the promenade. Ran it right down the promenade. I think it was Christmas time. Ran it right down the promenade, killed like 80-something people. That was not black people. That's right. So if you want to talk about what's better for the public safety, Priti Patel, you're wrong. You need to look at your people. You need to look at your Afghani and Paki and everybody else. But black people, we really hurt each other. We don't hurt nobody else. That's right. And you're not deporting us because we are menace to our society. You're deporting us because you want to make space for the Afghans. That's really all right. Anymore?
However, there are several exceptions to this provision in the Border Act. I think that's what it says.
All right, so they didn't have in that article how much they was paying France, right? I think it's 54 million a year was the deal. All right, let me get now Hoyt from Leeds. Let me get you another one. All right, bear with me real quick. You'll type the questions in the chat. I'm gonna get them shortly after. All right. No sweat. I'm gonna get you one in Matthew. And let me get you one in Matthew now. And we come right back to this one. I'll send you the one with Hoyt. All right? Hoyt from Leeds.
Got Matthew 9 and 36. And it reads, but when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd.
Skip up 2 verses. Is one verse? Matthew.
It was 36 to 37.
Okay, start at 34.
Verse 34. But the Pharisee said, he casteth out devils through the prince of devils. And yet Yahushua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness and every disease among the people.
Right. This is, of course, the Sadducees and Pharisees, your Christian preachers and your religious leaders having a problem because Christ was going, teaching people, raising them up, healing the sick. And of course, it's like, imagine you have somebody who you paying to heal you, and then somebody else comes and does a better job for free. You're going to know that they're endangering your livelihood. So they came right after and said, this man healing you, not in the Lord's name, but he working for Satan. Go ahead.
Verse 36. And when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them because they fainted and were scattered abroad.
Right. So Christ now, he looking at the people coming and he felt compassion. He was heartbroken because the government of the land would not take care of the people. The religious leaders wouldn't do it. And he felt moved with compassion, meaning normally his hours would be done at 10. He ready to work all night because he have people to take care of. Go ahead.
As sheep having no shepherd, Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
Okay.
Pray ye therefore to the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers unto the harvest.
All right, that was it.
Come on, Pastor.
And she just wanted a breakdown on this one.
Breakdown, sir.
Okay, so now Christ is saying when he saw the multitude, remember, it's him and the 12. He said, read this again. So like after the, what you call after the part where he had compassion.
Because they had fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd.
Right, they fainted, they grew weary, they grew weak, they followed him all day. And he looked at them as sheep without a shepherd. The closest thing right now, because we're so removed from agriculture, the closest thing I could tell you is imagine some young child that doesn't have a father or a mother. You get the point? This child is just really on their own. How you would feel, you'd want to do something for the child. Now imagine it's a sea of children. They don't have no shepherd. You get the point? Like that's the closest thing I could give you as an example today to bring it back to the what he's talking about there. When he see them as sheep without a shepherd, is really you at the mercy of whatever comes. Really, that's what it is. Right? Go ahead.
Come on, Khan. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
Right, the harvest is plenty, meaning it's a whole lot of work here to do. Right, when you look at how much people need caring for, it's a whole lot of work here to do, but the laborers are few. It's only a handful of us. You get the point? Right. Go ahead, Slack. You have a question? Go ahead.
Only one Western.
Well, there's always only one West. There's always only going to be one West, and there always will be one West. You see what I mean?
There's many different people out there. There's only one company.
That's a fact. That's not this, but that's definitely a fact. I'll give you that. That's a Fendi fact. That's a certified fact. More so, that point you're making is the beginning of Isaiah, where they said, that man who will give you shade and protect you from whatever and whatever. That Joy Morgan, if she had to report to Parashah, she would have been alive.
That's right.
You understand? Because Parashah would have put an end to that nonsense. And Hamite wouldn't have been able to breathe up in here. It's too Israelite for his damn Hamite ass. But over there with them purple Sodomites, he could go in there and blend in. Because Sodom is second nature to Ham. And he could go over there with all the Sodomites over there and abuse women. And here we don't do that. We know what a woman is good for. You get the point? Keep going.
Come. Verse 38. Pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest, that he will send forth laborers into the harvest.
Right. So Christ is saying, pray that the Lord send for more workers, more laborers into the harvest. Get the point? I'll let you know. How long was the project? 2014, 2015? 2015, I get a call from Commander Gen.YAHANNA via General Mayam and say, listen, there's a brother there, Parashi, I think he was a trooper at the time. He was a trooper at the time. So Mashak, go ahead and work with the brother. I said, I don't know this brother. I said, go ahead and work with him and build up UK. I said, ain't no sweat. Parashi became an officer. He brought in two other brothers, Karathi and Damgoba. I said, General, we good. We got the UK. He said, Mashak, go build something that we could go to. And years later, we prayed, and the sisters came in. And then Shamgar came in, and then Tazapawan and Raban and Magawar and Mawasa, and who else I forget? Hakayan, Karawan met in 2016, and we still praying for more laborers. Why? Because Priti Patel is deporting the nation out. That's right. And that's what this is. We pray daily that more brothers come in. Listen, I'll tell you all straight. I made this trip because in my mind, I ain't saying this is a prophecy or whatever, but just erring on the side of caution. I'm thinking that this place is going back into another lockdown very severely. And I said, let me take this window to come and see Captain Parashia and the wonderful school he built. Because if it goes back into lockdown, I don't know how else it will be long for. But if it doesn't go into lockdown, and these niggas who Parashia got in here, like I saw the camp Saturday, boy, and I nearly shed a tear. Salakia. You all don't know how good it was to see that camp not be affected by COVID. You know what I mean? And in fact, grow in the COVID. You understand? Before the COVID came, brothers wasn't there yet, and then more brothers came, and more brothers still coming. You had James there from young man James from is Leicester, right, coming through. You had the brother from Amsterdam coming through to see it growing. Now, if this COVID, if the Lord holds it back, England, how to say Houston, we have a problem. England, we gonna have a problem because these niggas Prussia rolling with, they unstoppable right now. Quatazar, oh, I could forget Quatazar, brother. Quatazar come all the way out the woodwork up in here, and that's prayers being answered. That's prayers being answered, and that means now these brothers have to become that rock. These brothers could hide. These brothers could get shade from. These sisters could get shade from. They could get leadership from. That Israel and England does not have to be sheep without a shepherd anymore. Because Captain Parashia, under command and Gen.YAHANNA, under the Most High and Christ, he has been given the authority to be a defense. And you should come and find him if you're smart.
That's right.
You should come and find him before Pretty finds you. Because Pretty ain't so goddamn pretty.
That's right.
You get the point? Before Pretty finds you, find Parashia. All right, so that's the breakdown on that. Christ is saying, pray for more laborers. Pray for brothers to come in the truth. Pray for more sisters to come in the truth because we have a nation to serve. You know, brothers driving past Winston Green, a huge ass prison, and I'm sure majority filled with brothers.
That's right.
I'm sure. Is there a woman up in there too?
Nah, no. Like I said,
do women go to jail in England?
Yeah, it's called Holloway Prison.
It wasn't called?
Holloway Prison.
Holloway?
Yeah. Quite a few.
Okay, they do. Sisters go to jail? Salaki, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like they just be slamming the brothers. But okay, so there's a prison for the sisters. We gotta go there. Salaki. Say again? Yeah, listen, make a list and check it twice like Santa Claus, because we go and end up in them prisons. We have a whole nation to go find. And it's a lot of work to be done. And right now, these men is doing it, and they're doing an excellent job. How much more work? Give him a hand now. Give him a hand. How much more work? 2 more brothers walk in here, 3 more, 10 more, 100 more. Them 83 Pretty Patel deported. I'm hurt because them is 83 niggas or sisters who could have come up in here and serve and help build this nation. But no sweat, Pretty. We got I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. You think you're destroying one house, you're building the next house. Right. We all over the goddamn place. Hell. In Jamaica. In Jamaica. The whole island. Listen, you call what's the number for Jamaica? See if we can pull it up there for it's like she know more than me. But pull up Abadawan's number, all right? I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica, Captain Nathak, he's the captain over Jamaica. You know what I mean? And Jamaica gonna be built with everybody you send back. You understand? Because now they know you the oppressor. And guess what? There'll be a voice on the street saying, you're being oppressed. You're being oppressed. And Pretty Patel oppressing black people. Well, the Lord is going to oppress you and India and Pakistan in the near future. You get the point?
Right.
You just say the number. Right?
The number's plus 1876 317 3722.
All right, say it one more time.
Plus 1876 317 3722.
All right, put it up on the screen too. Anybody in the UK, you have family in Jamaica, you're going to call that number. You have I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad. You have I.S.U.P.K. Puerto Rico. What else we have? I.S.U.P.K. Dominican Republic. I.S.U.P.K. Haiti. Right? You up here and you have family members. And any island really we could go to from anywhere over there. You'll put them numbers up, get everybody locked in and loaded in. Because this is the house that's going to defend you from these damn animals, man. Let me get some more. Give me Hoyt. I sent it to you. I sent it to Kara. Check your WhatsApp. Please.
Leeds man wants to explain 40 years of suffering to Pretty Patel after 100,000 Windrush payout. Lorenzo Hoyt has been living in the UK since he was 10 years old.
Right. He's been living in the UK since he was 10 years old. He's now 64. You get the point? Keep reading.
Like so, brother said, I.S.U.P.K carousel coming soon.
Listen, that's the man right there. Give him a hand. That's Amsterdam. Amsterdam. He adamant about building that shit. But how he said? What he say? Jesus Christus is un swarte man. I'm gonna speak Dutch, you know. I'm going over there in Amsterdam, and I'm gonna cause hell. Shit. But they're about to ban me from Britain soon. I'll find another place to go. And go ahead,
The brother of British Olympic star Jocelyn Hoyt-Smith has demanded to meet Home Secretary Priti Patel.
Now his sister ran for England in the Olympics and ran in 2 Olympics, and she's a star. Go ahead.
Priti Patel, so she can listen to his story after he derided the £100,000 Windrush compensation payout.
Right. So now they give him £100,000 payout because what happened was they lost all his paperwork from since he was 10 years old. Right. I think later on in the article it'll tell you he applied for the passport and citizenship either 17 times or 7 times. It's some ridiculous number. See if you find it. It might be 17.
14 times?
14 times. Which means he was told no 14 times. What else does that mean if you're paying attention? If you understand anything about our oppressor? They collect 14 checks. You understand? You understand how financially feasible it is to say no? You understand? It's good to say no. Get the point? It's good for them to say no. So when you see the turn in your back and you have everything right, don't say, it's of the Christian thing. It's of the Lord we don't get through. And no, the white man's the devil. That's why he ain't get through.
That's right.
If you can pay him more than what he would earn by giving you no, he'll give you the card. You get me? Go ahead, Art.
Lorenzo moved to Leeds from Barbados when he was 10 years old, and it was only in 2018 when he was recognized as a British citizen.
Right? Only in 2018 as he recognized as a British citizen. Listen, so now this is damn near 50 years he's been living and couldn't earn legally. He couldn't buy a house. He couldn't qualify for NHS. He couldn't do nothing. As a grown man, go ahead.
This wasn't without trying. The 64-year-old applied for a British passport 14 times since 1979, with the last attempt in 2017. As Lorenzo was denied a passport, this meant he has never been able to buy his home in Wakefield, go abroad on holidays, or say goodbye to his mom and his brother who sadly died.
That's another traumatic part. Because you ain't, you don't have that citizenship. You have to damn near cut your family off in your mind, because why would you be emotionally tied to somebody you ain't never gonna see again? But you don't want to take a phone call because you'll cry when they say bye because you can't never go see them.
Normally Jamaican people ring. He can't answer that call because he can't support them.
Exactly. He can't support. And listen, even the other way around. Let's say somebody's going to send up money for you. How are you going to collect it? Who the hell are you? You get me? Now, how would he survive? What options would somebody like that have to survive?
Crime.
Unless you have somebody who's taking care of you. Crime. And from here, you're going to have also, well, in addition to the little lust that come from Christianity, from here is where you're going to get all them interracial marriages. Because now you're going to look for some dumb, big, fat, like a fridge whitey to go and get your red book. You get me? Or at least take care of you. You get the point? Not because he not necessarily loved the broad, but it's survival. Now, in some cases, he might have some twisted shit upstairs. But you get what I'm saying? It's he looking for the shelter. Without that man to give him the shelter, he had to go to the oppressor for the shelter. And now that weakens him because he compromises every bit of integrity. So now when he's up in age and he hear you on the corner saying the white man is the devil, and England is the devil, and the white woman is the devil, he hear what you're saying. He know you're right. But his spirit torn now. You understand? You see how horrible this thing is for us? With people.
He has worked as a welder about all his life, but because he didn't have a passport, He worked at companies on temporary basis, and he would often be put out of work.
You understand? Go ahead.
Lorenzo had to rely on friends who would lend him money for food, rent, and even to fix his car.
You understand? Like that's what he had to rely on. And you know, even if you have the best friends in the world, as a man, it's emasculating. It's emasculating not to have a certain control over the things around you. It's just emasculating. Go ahead.
He was a welder, but he was never paid for doing his job.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Always underpaid.
If it is
Always
he's a welder, they would hire him, but they ain't gonna pay him to do it.
I don't need to pay you.
Because now you exactly, and all that vexation you going through.
And the only people who own welding companies
are
the oppressor.
The oppressor. He ain't looking for the brother. Because if he was working for a brother, it wouldn't be a problem. But he working for them, which is how most of us are. You get the point? Go ahead.
Padawan Khan. Speaking on his situation to lead live, he said, I've written a letter to Priti Patel asking for an audience with her. I want her to hear my story, to sit down and listen about how I've had to live my life for 40 years.
Read that part again. That part there, it didn't turn me off, but it did something to my spirit, because he's 64 years old. Priti Patel is younger than him. She wasn't even born when he probably came across her. She was a thought. And he has to go meet with her so to make her understand what his life was like. Brother, this brother here, I wish I could speak with him. That's the final nail in the coffin for the little bit of masculinity you have left. You go into some broad, number one, some heathen broad, number two, who is way younger than you, who don't give a damn about you, to what exactly? Beg? Nah. And this is why the truth is needed. This is why you need that man who's going that covered from the tempest, who will protect you from the sun, because you don't know you're at war, brother. You don't know. I feel sorry for this brother here. You absolutely do not know you're at war. Who are the hand up? Come on.
Yeah, and also as well, she wouldn't want to meet this man because it goes against their agenda.
Exactly.
They like, not the Jamaican, the West Indian bad guy, a rapist. Mm-hmm. And then to hear what happened to him, it was literally go against everything what they've said. So
exactly, she don't care to meet with him. It's not politically feasible for her to meet with him. You understand? And somewhere in that article, he said something like, if I was a criminal, I would have gotten more rights. Meaning he would have been arrested and went through the whole system, which makes him look at, like, how does he look at brothers and sisters who did not keep us straight and narrow like he did?
Yeah. He looks at them like they get handled better than he does.
But how does he look at our people, brothers and sisters? They have made a mistake.
Oh, he thinks he's better than them, sir?
Or he blames them for why he can't get a green card. That's what Christianity would do. That's what Christianity does with big-headed Negroes. They look at the road man or the sister who, she ain't polished, and be like, it's people like you why Boris looks at us like this. People like you make Priti look at us like this. But some African cutting somebody head off, he fine. He fine. Some Arab who steal a truck and run everybody over, that fool fine. You get the point? That fool fine. Some old Arab who kidnap 16 girls and keep them in white girls and keep them in a house in Birmingham, raping them for weeks, he good. But me with my little, Air Max and my little, puffy jacket on the road, I'm society's biggest problem. You need the truth. You need the truth, brother. You understand? Come on.
I was going to say a scripture for that is a nation of fierce countenance which shall not show.
Read it. Tell them where you are. Read it nice and louder.
Deuteronomy 28, chapter verse 5 there.
Uh-huh.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Any more questions,
which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Read one more time again, nice and low.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 5 there. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Exactly. That's who we have ruling over us. Come on, President.
This one, line 3 for the summit. The question: can you explain the Father saying we will go to him, meaning our oppressor in all things, was this informing us either by force or choice that we will?
Said one more.
To our oppressor in all things, was this either by force or choice that we will?
Both. It's both. All right. The curse in Deuteronomy, we will go to our for want of all things. It's both. It's by force and by choice. Right? Those of us who have our eyes closed and our ears closed, it's by choice. Those of us who have our eyes open. Now you know the white man's the devil, right? Who you get your gas from? If do you want to? Right. But Dave Lamy, he wants to go get gas though. You get the point? By force or by choice is irrelevant. The bottom line is we got to go to him. We go to him for water, for toilet paper, you got to go to him. It doesn't matter by force or by choice, it's just a matter of where you are mentally or spiritually, if you want to put it like that. But it's both. Because no matter what you get in, you're not buying it from the kingdom of God. You get the point? Go ahead. Yeah, in all, there's nothing you're not getting from him. Everything. All right, skip me down to um it's in that article where he says, keep reading right where you at.
I don't want cancer. I want her to hear my story, to sit down and listen about how I've had to live my life for 40 years and right my wrongs. She hasn't
And
got
right his wrongs. Like you see how we go to our people? Like what the hell he do wrong? What he do? He applied 14 times. He get the money. He pay you. He was welding. He ain't wrong. What does he have to write? England has a right to wrong to right, not him. Go ahead.
she hasn't got a clue how we suffered. If I was a criminal, I would have got more human rights than I've had. I'm angry, very angry. I've tried to control it. It's like a ball of fire in me.
Bro,
And
that's so precious, sir. That anger he feeling, that's what I want, sir. Fresh, you better be looking for that. You look for some old crazy angry nigga out there. Whatever. It's a correct. He crazy, he angry. You don't know why? You make sure that nigga sitting in class up. Whatever he need. He need a bottle of alcohol, he need shoes. You get it for him. Make sure he sit in class because that's what he need. Because he's angry. But Christianity making him feel guilty for the anger. Christianity makes him feel like I can't do nothing with the anger. There is something you could do with the anger. You could stop sinning. You could stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Stop smoking weed. Stop having sex with whores. Stop being a lesbian. Stop being an old sodomite. Stop aborting the baby. Stop being Christian. Stop being Muslim. And you could go on the streets and say the white man is the devil. You could go on the streets and say Christ is a black man with that anger. That's something you could do with the anger. I got some, and listen, point, I wouldn't mind a big sign saying the white man is the devil welded with some lights on it. I'll pay you very well for that shit too. Hell. You get the point? That anger is because of the oppression. And the key is the Lord wants us angry so we turn back to him. Come on, sis.
A lot of these black people in, let's say, positions of, like let's say they're now in government and TV presenters, they think that they're doing something by pointing out the injustices, which somewhat they are, but their end goal is equality. Their end goal is to come together, and that ain't the move.
That ain't the move. You're so right. Listen, I was thinking about that recently too, where I think it was somebody at camp was saying, we all equal or we need to be equal or some shit like that. And for the life of me, right? If you Manchester United and you playing, Real Madrid, and they got a striker who's scoring all the goals, what do you want to do? Draw the game, or you want to go buy a striker to score more goals than them? And that's when you put it like that, people understand it. I want to win. When you have a business, you selling, patties and jerk chicken, and some Arab moving and he's selling kebabs. And he's selling more kebabs than you selling patties. What do you want to do? Sell kebabs or find a way to make your patties and your jerk better to outsell him? You trying to outsell him, right? Why the hell we trying to be equal with these fools? It's called race for a reason. Anybody try to draw a race? Do you see all them running the finish line like this, holding hands? No, they're ducking because they want to win. Christianity robbed us of the opportunity to win with our race. We need to win. We don't need to be equal with nobody. So to answer the point you was bringing out, Lami and them, they're doing the best they can because they think equality is victory. And equality is a loss for us because we've been so-called equal since civil rights, and it ain't did nothing for us. Now this is the time where we win. This is the time where we decide who stays and who goes. Go ahead.
As you were saying it, I think it benefits them because they're only equal with us when we're in this position.
Okay, they know they're not equal. They know there's no equality. Equality is a farce. There's nothing equal.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're only on a level playing field with us when we're in this position.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not even a level playing field. They tell us it is. There's no two things. Even identical twins have a difference. What's the difference with identical twins? One comes out first. One's older. There's no equality anywhere on the earth. I don't care what it is. They have a serial number on machines for production number. It's the same thing, but why this one is 1 and that one is 2? Well, this one was made first. Give me that one. There's no equality. Is a myth. It doesn't exist. There's a higher and there's a lower. There's a better and there's a lesser. There's an older and there's a younger. There's a taller and a shorter. Everywhere. Equality doesn't exist. We just happen to think being shorter is equal. Being lesser is equal, and it shouldn't be. Give me 12, Isaiah 32 and 5. Any more on it there where he's talking about speaking with her? He said he was angry. He wants her to see all the pain he went through, what his life was like. Now you go into Priti Patel to right your wrongs. Why not go to the Lord and right your wrongs? And pray Priti Patel die, man. God damn shit. Hell. Why not go and ask the Lord to give her COVID? Right? Why not go and ask the Lord to make them find some folder that makes Priti Patel an illegal immigrant, which I'm sure she is. Why not do that? Why not? If any wrongs you have to make right, it's with the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Priti Patel. She's not God. She's not God, but Christianity is going to make his lips stammering. And how you think he's going to talk to her? How you think he's going to dress to go down there in Westminster? He's going to keep it. He's going to keep it and go down. And this is no disrespect to the brother. I'm just saying how it is. Suit and tie and Miss Patel. I hope you understand and blah, blah, blah. He's supposed to go in there blazing fire and blow her out the water, make her end the interview. And just whatever. You spent your whole life in piss and filth anyway. What you want to live, 20 more years? Being Priti Patel friend? Pretty bitch die, Ak. Go ahead, Ak.
He feels like
he said, I have to right my wrongs. Nigga, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong to England, but we did everything wrong to the Lord. You understand? Give me Isaiah 32 and 5. All right. Give me Isaiah 32 and 5.
Black one, I've got it. Should I read it?
Go ahead to start on, please.
Then I'll come to Isaiah chapter 32, verse 5. The vile person shall be no more called liberal. God, nor the child said to be bountiful.
All right, read it one more time.
God, the vile person shall be no more called liberal. Nor the child said to be bountiful.
What does that mean? Who could break it down? Go ahead.
Slaki, was he asking me, sir?
Yeah, you can go ahead, give it a shot.
Yeah, the vile Slaki, yeah, so the vile Esau is the vile person, man. And he's been liberal, he's been what is it, the daughter of Babylon that does not, set the sole of her feet for the cause of delicacy, upon the ground for the cause of delicacy. That's the vile person. No more shall.
it didn't say they were liberal. It said they were called liberal.
Right. Yeah, Salaka, yeah, I'm not saying they were liberal. Like, he's made himself to be liberal. They're not
Explain that
liberal.
part. Explain that part where he make himself liberal. What does that mean?
Okay, so obviously they've lifted themselves up, as the scriptures even say, right? So, what's the scriptures say now? They have lifted themselves up, basically, right? They've made themselves kings in the earth. They've made themselves queens in the earth. All, set themselves in power in the earth over God's chosen people.
You need a doormat, all right? Make another one for a doormat, all right? Let everybody step on him when they come in. Okay, you halfway on the liberal part. I'm gonna give it to you. He's called liberal, meaning they make themselves out to be righteous and good. So generous and always with the best intents for people and the public, and so good. That's okay. In other words, this image here, right? You look at this image here. This is the image of being liberal, free and kind and good and generous. No more shall he be called liberal. This vile person. You get the point? And every other thing that lines up behind this, including the British government, the American government, Priti Patel. You get the point? They all now, they no longer will that vile person be called liberal. You understand? And now, not only are Israelites angry with her, but even her own government, they're trying to replace that broad right now. They say they're going to bring somebody else in because how she handling things, she ain't handling it good. Not meaning deporting us, but she's not as cunning as they are. You understand?
Right.
That 83 people got deported by mistake. And they had to admit it because she messed it up so goddamn much. It's like, listen, you a hoe, but you ain't hoeing. You ain't hoeing. We need somebody else. Go ahead.
She's not of the most subtle beast of the field.
She's not the most subtle beast of the field. You understand? She's a little bit too brazen, too out there. No more shall the vile person be called liberal. They're going to be called vile now. You understand? It was always vile, but they start take on the appearance like they're so upright and proper, and it's nonsense. They're not upright and proper. Keep going. And no more shall the child said to be bountiful. What does that mean?
So meaning like now to be a child is to be a mean, and to be a bountiful means that you care in abundance
and you're generous and stuff. So chill means like cruel or mean. So no more will these cruel people be called bountiful and generous. You get the point? Now everybody gonna see that these people are the really cruel and mean. You get the point?
That's right.
Because why? Everybody has found that man who gonna now open your eyes from being dim and open your lips from stammering, that you're going to be ready to speak, and your ears now hearing and you're ready to go. Now you're seeing what's going on. Now all these people who you think was good, you realize they're cruel. Because listen, there are Israelites who think the Home Office is doing a smashing job. There are Israelites who think that. Who think, listen, I got my papers, I did this, listen, I ain't got no problem. If you didn't get yours, you probably, you're probably wrong. There's Issacharites who say deport some Mexicans because they're criminals, and they're Issachar.
Right.
Question, Alexis, Yariana? Go ahead.
Jamaicans in Britain say, like, they need to get rid of the bad ones. Basically, like, I'm over here just doing the right stuff.
Listen, you yardis who say that, come down to High Street Saturday and talk to me, please. Come down to Brixton Saturday around 12 noon and tell me how good you are, how bad everybody else is. Let me show you a mirror so you can see how ugly you are, how disgusting you are, and how you are the problem. You are the problem that these quote unquote bad ones are messing up. Because if you were so good, do you think some Paki or Afghan or Polish or Albanian who bring in guns in, do you think the rich ones who so-called good to do are blaming them? No. They get them a suit, shave their face, get them a Benz, buy a flat for them, and say, listen, change your life, come do this. Don't, let's come together and do something. Only we separate ourselves from each other for the
Yeah.
oppressors. These other nations don't do that. They hide criminals, they marry criminals to their daughters and make it clean them all the way up. But our
Mm,
people, yes, y'all this, y'all that, all that gonna stop. All that gonna
mm.
stop. Don't worry. Parashia is on the way. Just know like, you're gonna be on the no-fly list, Parashia. Listen, do all your flying now, no. they're gonna stop you. Go ahead, Ak. Go ask Pretty Patel what you are. She gonna say nigga, plain, import. Go ahead, keep reading that.
Kanokata, verse 6. For the vile person will speak villainy,
Mm-hmm.
God, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail.
Everybody get that? You understand? That's what they do. They speak villainy against us. They utter hypocrisy. Like how you gonna say you gonna deport the people who are a threat to society? Meanwhile, you basically greenlight the people who literally bombing your damn kingdom, who literally
Right.
murdering your damn kingdom. 9/11 is today. They just brought in, I think it's what 250,000 Afghans into America. They, go ahead. I mean, they place them all over because America is so big. Yeah, I think it's like 200,000 or something like that came into America. I mean, brother, these veterans, they have enough fit because some of them don't have housing and Medicare. But meanwhile, you have housing for these Afghans. Last week, the COVID unemployment, the federal government in America, they passed some billions of dollars to pay people whose jobs was affected by COVID. Because of the COVID, they couldn't do no shipping or whatever, and they stayed home. In the last year, white America realized what black America or black people everywhere know for a fact. Unemployment is better than a minimum wage job. That's why most black people just will take the unemployment. Because by the time you pay taxes and pay gas to go to work and buy lunch, you left with nothing. So it's just better to take the check and stay home. White people been doing that. White people don't want to go back to the office. They want to work from home and keep the adjusted hours and collect the unemployment. Well, this weekend, 3.9 million people was cut from the unemployment. And unemployment could be anywhere from 300 to 600 a week, sometimes more, depends on your slavery. This Labor Day weekend they just had, Labor Day was Monday in America, they cut 3.9 million people from unemployment, which means what? 3.9 million people by, let's say, average 500 US is how much? 500 by 3.9 is how much? Just do the math real quick. I think a little bit more than that. Yeah. That's a few $1 billion in 1 week. Why? Because you got Pakis to feed. They ain't do that for Mexicans. No, ain't nobody pull nobody out of no cages on the border though. But you got these people to feed. And you bringing them in close to 9/11 when so much Americans got murdered by Arabs from Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and Iran. They're watching all these veterans right now for suicide and shooting up the place. These people are hypocrites, and they're speaking villainy and they're speaking against the Lord because they blame us for everything. And we don't do
Right.
nothing but serve them. Go ahead. I forgot about that. 2% and then 1.2% on the NHS tax, I think. When you add it up, it's billions. What? What's he talking about? He ain't got nothing to raise, but we need to find a way to pay for all these Afghans coming in. They're the illegal immigrants. They're the drain on society. And black man, you don't forget it. Sisters, y'all don't forget it. Because they be on them slavery pretending they're talking to y'all and you all how. Just, they're the drain on society. Come on.
And like, what's odd about that is they gave everyone a pay rise, and now they've upped they've now upped the
taxes. So it's just to give you
point?
back.
So what's the point?
It's hypocrisy. It's this right here. Read the verse again. Somebody in the car. Since I'm gonna give you a break, right? You was gonna say something? No,
so like I've got it still, but yeah, go on. Yeah,
no, go ahead. We'll read this again. Verse 6. Crafty, go ahead. Verse 6. Nice and loud, all right?
Isaiah 32 and 6. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail.
Yes, and that's what happened with this brother here and so many other brothers, hungry and thirsty. You get the point? Because of all the things they utter, the things they say, the things they want to do. They're doing things that's villainy against us. Like, to qualify for deportation, you could have a charge that give you 12 months in jail. This broad want to lower it, knowing how disproportionate the charges are for black people as against white, just from the stop and search. That's what we call it here, right? Stop and search. Just from that alone, how disproportionate that is. You want to lower the months now to qualify more people to deport. Priti Patel, the Lord is going to judge you. The Lord is going to judge you harshly. Go ahead.
Possession of a knife will get longer than 12 months.
Just for possession of a knife.
Possession of a knife will get longer than 12 months.
See what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Keep reading.
The instruments also of the chair are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words.
Say it again.
He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words.
To destroy who?
The poor.
To destroy who?
The poor.
Exactly. That's who they want to destroy. That's who they seek to destroy. Like this whole maritime law, she trying to change there. That's not just going to affect the English Channel. Maritime law is international. It's going to affect everywhere. You get the point? Which means all them rafts that coming in Florida from Cuba and Haiti and wherever, it's going to affect everything. They come with lying words because they want to oppress the poor. Go ahead.
With lying words. Even when the needy speaketh right.
Even when what?
The needy speaketh right.
Even when what?
The needy speaketh right.
Even when we speak it right. Because why? Poverty comes with... Of course, some of us going to go into crime. But even when the ones of us who not in crime speak right, you still oppress us. Like this brother here, he been welding and borrowing money, and now I want to right my wrongs? Nigga, what you talking about? This is oppression now. It's oppression. Go ahead.
That's right.
Liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand.
You understand? But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. And Captain Parashi, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, the Israelite School of I.S.U.P.K, you have devised liberal things. And by liberal things we stand. Black man, Hispanic man, you the 12 tribes of Israel. You ain't got to play second-class citizen to no red dot worshiping, cow worshiping fool, man. You ain't got, and that the red dot is period blood. You all know that, right? You all familiar with that? You didn't know that. You thought that red dot was ink. I'll post the video for you all tonight. That red dot comes from Krishna had a wife and he had an outside woman. Yeah, and the outside woman, the wife was on her period. The outside woman, he went to meet the outside woman. The people honor the wife more than the outside woman, so they built a statue to the wife. And because she was on her monthly, they go to pray to her. This is the myth, that the statue bled the same time she bled. And they bow down to the statue, put their hand right between the legs, and put the dot here. You can find this video anywhere on the internet. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. Now, this is what I want to find out. Before the statue, right? They be poor and shit. They be, you all see Slumdog Millionaire? Remember when he jumped in the shit? What they was using for the red when they didn't have ink and shit? Just knowing a heathen. All right. You get the point? That red dot is nothing holy. It's nasty, Pretty Patel. You don't have to bow down to them. You know what I mean? Let me see if there's any more. Hold on. Keep reading that.
Verse
Give me
9.
a few more minutes, we done.
Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
Right? This is time for us to raise up. This is time for you saying careless woman, because we have begun to become like careless women. You know, disrespect these sisters, but just imagine a sister who is careless and carefree, how she operates. That's how we've all become to the Lord. Just like a careless woman, just free and clear and don't consider nothing, is not accountable or responsible for anything. He's saying time now to wake up. Keep going.
Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come.
And just like a careless woman, she pretty when she young, but after a while, that mile started to add up. And you ask her her age, you 23, you look like 50. Her vintage gonna fail. That's how we all have become as a people. You get the point? We become like that. It's like, damn, these people was in charge. Our vintage done failed. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins.
Right, he's saying tremble. Now is the time for us to wake up now. Now is the time for us to get into morning. Give me, skip me down to verse 15. Them verses in between is more synonyms and similes of us in mourning and destroy. Give me verse 15.
Verse 15. Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high.
Say it again.
Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high.
Say it one more time.
Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high.
Go ahead.
And the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness of the righteous. Remain in the fruitful field.
You understand? Like we gonna have to start to wake up and not become like that careless woman until the Lord pour out his spirit, and the Lord done pouring out his spirit already. You're all seeing it. Not just in the UK, in the Americas, in the Caribbean islands, in Canada, in South America, all over, he pouring it out, and that judgment gonna come. And you're gonna see as time progress, these European governments, they're going to fail. And it's only the government the Lord set up is going to definitely be there for a shade for our people. Strength for our people. You have a question?
Acts 2:17.
Read it, let me hear.
And it shall come to pass in that day, say God, I will pour out my spirit upon flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men dream dreams.
That's what's going on right now. That's definitely what's going on right now. But for sure, the spirit to stand up and call our oppressor as he is. To stand up and realize, Pretty Patel, Boris gives her power. The Lord gives me power. Who's bigger? Who's better? You get the point? The spirit to stand up and realize we're better than these heathens. We're better than these Afghans and Arabs. We are much better than them. And we don't have to take the mess from them. All we have to do is be strong enough to not sin and be strong enough to love our people and obey the Lord. And you're going to see something magnificent happen in the UK. All right, with that, we pass the class over to Priest and Officer Karathia.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements, where the I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohanna. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3 and 8 to 10, means 10 from the Hebrew ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocations is Wednesday, the 15th of September at sundown, which is the Day of Atonement, Salakia. Or Akam Akwaf. Check all I.S.U.P.K social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, black shirt, black pants, black headband, and black headscarf.
You just do the salute, all right?
The teacher one cares to salute. Men of Israel, Imadium. Imadium Shabbat. Imadium. Barak. Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatah.
Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatah.
Yajamata. Ansar. 10. One cares to the sisters. Sisters Imadium. Men of Israel. Imadium Shabbat. Imadium. Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatah Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yajamata. Class dismissed.